Hey, Gene Arant, Keller Realty. We get this question a lot to our team. Where should I live in Austin? And it really should be one of the first questions that you ask yourself is, which part of Austin should I live in? Growing up here and being a real estate agent for the last 27 years, we've got a lot of resources and a lot of knowledge that can help you make that decision. So let's start by taking a look at the map and some few key areas around Austin. What I like to always talk about is, first of all, when you are coming into Austin, you're going to fly in and you're going to land at the Austin-Bergstrom International Airport. From there, we're north, south, east, west, and I-35 runs through the state of Texas all the way down to Mexico, and that divides the city from kind of east to west. And looking at that and looking at downtown, of course, we've got the Colorado River that runs through the city, which is beautiful. Downtown, it's called Lady Bird Lake. And then when it goes farther north, it becomes what they call Lake Austin, and all the way through the hill country. And then we get into Lake Travis above that, and it flows all the way up into the northwest, which would be Marble Falls is the next town that sits up there. But looking at Austin as a whole, depending on where you want to, where you may be working, your commute, those different things. The major thoroughfares, like I said, is I-35. We do have a loop on the east side called 130, which goes all the way from the far end of the area. Round Rock, Georgetown is above that, coming all the way down almost to San Antonio, to New Braunfels, and then around to San Antonio. So very popular road, toll road. And then down through downtown is Loop 1 or MOPAC. And so that's a very, very traveled, heavily trafficked area. And then 360 is a little bit more in the hill country. So those are your major three to get you up from north to south and then going from east to west. So everything west of 35 tends to be, used to be more farm ranch area. So it's flatter, just rolling hills. When you get west and you can see this green area, then you start getting some elevations and what we call the hill country and some really neat vistas and views, those kinds of things. Now it is more expensive. It tends to be more expensive west, mainly because of those views, the water, but also the construction cost to live out west because it's all rock. There's indigenous rock, stone, and when you get west or east of 35, then you end up with more dirt, clayish. It's a lot easier to put in those subdivisions, so therefore you see the prices be less to the east of 35 versus the west. Some very popular areas right now that we're seeing. Round Rock is continuing to grow. Dell Computers put Round Rock on the map, 30 years ago. And out here in Taylor, which is fairly rural at this point, but Samsung just announced their multi-billion-dollar plant that they're putting out there. And then we kind of have a north and a south when we call downtown. Our central downtown area, which is very well populated, University of Texas, the Capitol, all of our skyscrapers are down here. If you want a high-rise living, all those things. You've got some beautiful parks and hike and bike trail around Town Lake. But then up north, we have what they call the Domain, which they're calling it kind of the north downtown. And so it's super popular, started with shopping, but we have a lot of big businesses, Indeed, Facebook, a lot of different companies like that. Apple's not far from here. Microsoft, their campus is up north. So a lot to look at. It just really depends a little bit on your lifestyle and what you're considering and the price points. So you've got Austin, but then from there, surrounding areas, east, you've got Pflugerville, Hutto, Round Rock up to Georgetown, and then it comes around to Cedar Park, Leander, and then you get into crossing the lake. You get Spicewood, Lakeway, Bee Caves, Dripping Springs is very popular. Again, it's a little bit more rural, but there's master plan communities, great schools, and then by going south out here to Driftwood is super popular, and then Kyle and Buda sit just below and south of Boston, and those are areas that you do have a little bit more affordability in pricing, and then also the commute into Austin is not as bad. So that's just a quick overview of Austin. Love to help you in any questions you have. Just shoot us an email and we can answer any questions you may have on the areas I mentioned. School districts, we do have ways to pull commutes, so you can find out, I'm going to be working here. I want to have less than a 30-minute commute. What are the areas I can consider? This is the price point I want to be in. Those kinds of things. We've got those resources, so we can help you on that. So let's back up and talk about affordability. In Austin, it's very important that we get clear when you guys come to Austin as to what you want to spend on a home. Obviously, that's going to affect, there's several different factors going to affect the affordability for you, in the sense that, what your down payment looks like, what the interest rates are at that time, there are any HOA fees, property taxes. Our property taxes in Texas and in Austin fluctuate anywhere from 1.5% to over 3% of the appraised value. So that can greatly affect your payment. So being clear on that and where the different tax rates are. And we're happy to sit down with you, work those numbers up, and make sure that we're clear as to exactly what you want to spend and what you feel comfortable with. And that any agent that you talk to is going to be very important that you have that conversations on the front end. So we're not showing you properties that truly you can't afford or want to spend that kind of income on. So happy to sit down, talk questions with you, and see how we can best help you and your family make that decision. So once you make it to Austin, we're showing you homes that match that criteria first. And then we go on to the next step, which is looking at the different locations that match your lifestyle, your commute, and those kinds of things. We'd love to work with you one-on-one and find that perfect home for you and your family. So just fill out the form below, and with your information, we'll be in touch as to how best we can get started, get you all the information about Austin. We've got some great resources for you, relocation guides, those kinds of things, whatever you might need on shopping, on school districts, on tax rates, on different housing programs, different loan programs. We've got multiple different lenders that are very aggressive in getting our clients the best, lowest fees, best interest rates for them. So please reach out to us. You can also call us directly at 512-261-1000 or find us at austintexasrealestate.com. Have a great day.